And we're back with another episode of the Morning Skate, episode 215. We have a ton of shit to talk about. We have the Seattle Expansion Draft. We have some big trades that have taken place. We have the NHL Draft. Just a lot of things going on. It's your host, Ked. Before I get into anything, hey guys, have you ever heard of Can-I Brands? Go to canibrands.com and use promo code TMS25 to save 25% off your order. I mean, they have all different types of shit. They have creams, they have droplets, anything to make you relax, anything to make you feel better. It's the real deal, dude. 75% of NHL locker rooms use this type of CBD organic products. Again, topical creams, sleep aids, broad spectrum, sublingual oils, and oral sprays. That's Can-I Brands. Head on over to canibrands.com and use promo code TMS25 to save 25% off your order. Again, this is your host, Ked. Thanks for listening to that. Go there, buy it up. I'm joined by Hal. Hal, how's everything going, buddy?
Good, dude. Good to be back. Some people might notice Bizdev Dale hasn't been around. Just want to throw this one out there. Bizdev Dale has retired. Moment in silence. I don't know how Ked feels about that. Maybe
we're not going to give him a moment in silence. Dale's out. Brownie is going to be stepping up and doing some business development. If you guys listen to the podcast and you want to get involved in the Morning Skate, reach out to us. You can either send us an email at morningskatepodcast@gmail.com or message us on any of our social media handles, anything along those lines. Honestly, we're just looking for people that can reach out to former players, current players, different types of hockey businesses, get them on the podcast. Guys, it's I just have a lot of stuff going on, so I need a little bit of help. In all honesty, it's like 2 or 3 emails a week, which for some people that would be excessive, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that can do that. So reach out to us. We're looking for a new biz dev person. I know Brownie is going to start helping out, and I know that he's going to crush it. So I'm actually really excited about that, but any help's good help. So that's what I have on that. What were you saying, Hal?
I love how we just opened our podcast, just basically seeing if we can find someone to send 2 emails a week.
2 emails a week, but listen, to some people that is excessive. But we are going to move on, I think. We did our Can-I Brands. We did our business development talk. Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of shit to talk about. So, Hal, do you just want to kind of hop into this?
Let's rip it.
Okay, NHL in the news. Play We're going to need to get a new videos too. But NHL in the news. We're going to start it off with the Seattle Kraken, the NHL's 32nd franchise. Did I get that right, Hal?
Correct.
All right, 32nd franchise took place. They had the expansion draft. There was a lot of news leading up to this. Carey Price was exposed. There were a lot of players that were exposed that kind of sent shockwaves. I think Vladimir Tarasenko was a player that was exposed that people were like, what the hell is going on?
Landeskog
was exposed. Just players where, we kind of saw not that long ago what Vegas did, and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe there's some side deals going on. There were rumors of side deals. And then at the end of the day, it kind of just looked like the Seattle Kraken just drafted like the dustiest fucking team they possibly could. I think that they're starting from the absolute bottom and working their way up. I think starting from the bottom now, we're here is going to be maybe their goal horn. And we're just going to kind of see what ends up happening. The reason I say that is I would say their premier player is probably Yanni Gourde, give or take. He's a really good player, but for a franchise to kind of build around somebody, it was kind of wild. Everybody thought there were going to be so many side deals, this and that. I know one that kind of came out with Rick Carpinello. He was talking about maybe the Rangers had one where they could keep Blackwell and get Giordano, and then they wheeled Giordano out on stage. So that clearly didn't happen. Before we do we want to get into the list and then kind of get your overall opinion, or do you want to do overall opinion and then the list?
Yeah, I mean, we could kind of continue. I feel like you just gave your opinion. So you basically think the Kraken stink. Now, I'm a little scared to say that just because last time I said that about the Golden Knights, they went to the Cup Finals, right?
Well, so I'll give them this. I think that they have a pretty halfway decent top six, and they have a pretty decent goalie tandem. But up front, I think they're hurting.
Well, they have no good centers, which is a big issue. To me, they definitely aren't that great. I think the Knights had more talent, up the lineup, but I think what happened was GMs just didn't want to make the same trades as last time. I think Ron Francis also played his cards a little too hard. Do you remember like way back in the middle of the season when they first started interviewing Francis and he was basically like saying like first round picks, like he wanted to make side deals. No one wanted to do it. I think everyone learned their lesson. And then if you're Seattle, it's basically I have guys like Carey Price. Do I sign them or do I just like suck and have a ton of cap space and build that way? Like there's free agents they can sign. They have a ton of money. They can flip these players, draft picks, tank it. Like the Golden Knights to me needed to be good quickly because like no one knew if Vegas was going to latch on to hockey. I think it helped that they were like unbelievable right out of the gate.
Yeah, dude, if Vegas stunk, I think it would have
different atmosphere, maybe
different story. Completely different story in Vegas.
Yeah, but I think Seattle's like a sports town, and you look at like I don't know, you look at like the Seahawks, right? And I feel like it's just an electric atmosphere, and I feel like they'll be able to hold up a team even if they suck for a few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and their rink looks really like sick. I don't know if you saw the pictures of like I don't even know if it's like real life yet at the inside of the rink. It looks pretty sick.
We probably talked about this way before, and now we're really off the rails, but I just think red and baby blue is gross.
Oh, see, I think red and baby blue is like
cool.
I mean, that reminds me of those Little League teams in the Little League World Series back in the day. Like I think Northeast used to wear baby blue and red, and I'd be like, "Fuck, I wish I was on that team."
Yeah, but their red's like kind of harder than that red. I know the exact jerseys you're talking about. Those are great jerseys. I agree.
Great jerseys.
I don't know. I just don't like the jerseys as much as most people do. And I'm an aquatic guy. Like I do love the ocean. Like
you do, dude, and you're a great swimmer. You really are. You're actually something I've been working on in my off season. Is practicing going underwater without plugging my nose, and I'm there, dude. I mean, I got a new girl in my life who was a swimmer, and she told me that was absolutely like borderline deal breaker. So I've just been like drowning myself in the bathtub, and you know, I've gotten pretty halfway decent at it. So it's just something that you know you can pat me on the back if you want, but if you don't want to, we can continue moving on. I do have a question. And we're going to kind of get into it in a little bit when we talk about trades with Arizona and Arizona just continually taking all these dog shit contracts and shit. Do you think that this is something that Seattle might do for the first couple of years to get the stockpile those picks and do it? Because, I mean, they have a ton of cap space. I think I'm looking at right now is Yanni Gord. He's making 5.1. Giordano's making 6.7 for the last year. And then Eberle is making 5.5.
So they really have two. If you think about it, they have two big contracts for a while. Like Giordano's up at the end of the year. Like Brandon Tanev, I think is like a 4 or 5 year deal at like 3.5. But that's like doable. You know what I mean?
Alexiak is 5 years, 4.6. Like nothing excruciating. Like
they have money.
Cale Makar just signed for $9 million. Seth Jones just signed for 9.5. But they don't have any giant contracts like that.
I mean, according to Gabriel Landeskog's agent, Gabriel Landeskog wants like what 9 years or like $9 million for 6 years or something like that. I don't know how many teams have the ability to do that or should do that. But the
Gabriel Landeskog wants a Bryce Harper contract. The guy wants to make $35 million a year at the end of the day.
Who?
Gabriel Landeskog. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot. Is he going to be making that much money? He's a great player. We can kind of get in that in a little bit, but let's go over the roster real quick. They got Hayden Fleury from the Ducks. Tyler Pitlick, which they packaged over to Calgary. Jeremy Lazan, your boy Lazan. Will Borgen, Mark Giordano, Morgan Geekie, John Quenville, Jonas Donskoy, Gavin Bayreuther. That was the Columbus pick, which was kind of weird because everybody thought Max Domi was going to be going, and they picked some dude that nobody's ever heard of. Good for you, Gavin. The only Gavin I know is Gavin DeGraw. And then, I mean, we'll start with that little chunk of people. I like that they picked Giordano, and I like that they're keeping him because, like, your team can suck, but you still want somebody to be the face of it. Like, they can't just be an absolute dumpster fire. You have to have somebody who's been there and done that. He's won in Norris. He's still a very capable defenseman. I was pumped when I saw the rumor that he might go to the Rangers. Apparently that's not happening, but out of that group, at least, Hayden Fleury is really good.
I was going to ask you, are you like Team Fleury, brother? Like, they're kind of irrelevant to me.
I don't think it's a bad pickup for $1.3 million a year. I think he's a top 6 defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah, dude. Going back to Giordano, I know that they're gonna keep him right now, but I just think it would be foolish. And I know you need a face of the franchise But at the trade deadline, like come playoff time, there's going to be so much value there. And it's his last year of his contract. I'm sure the Kraken will be able to eat like $3 million so the team can be under the salary cap and get more in return. You know what I mean?
100%. And dude, that's a great point. If you kind of look up and down this roster, I'll give you a couple other names. I mean, I think wheeling people at the deadline for a team looking to need a little bit of extra grit or a little extra depth. You have guys like Donskoy, who's played in the playoffs before. You have guys like Cal Yarncrow, Colin Blackwell, Jared McCann could be a player. I mean, Mason Appleton. You have guys in your roster where deadline comes around, you're really not doing good. You're looking at the contracts; they might not be there for that much longer. Those are guys you can deal to get more pieces in the next coming year's drafts, right? And on top of that, with all the cap space and whatever free agents you have coming out, I think this is going to be the long play where Vegas was like, we're going to stick it to him. I think Ron Francis is like, okay, let's kind of buckle in here and see where we're at.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think if you look like that first chunk, they have some good defensemen in there. I'm going to miss Jeremy Lauzon. It's kind of ended up like being a whipping boy, but I loved him. So I think he'll do well there. I think he'll probably be their 6th or 7th D. People have him as the 7th D. I think he's the 6th. John Quenneville, dude, like that was the other name. When I saw John Quenneville's name getting drafted, like he was irrelevant in the AHL last year, I think. Like, what is that pick? That's like is that Ron Francis being basically like, hey, like we don't want anybody from you guys Blackhawks. Let's take an AHL player to be like the captain.
Yeah, I can't remember if this is accurate or not, but I want to say that he was allegedly in a relationship with a girl that went to Siena. Did he play for the Rats or the Devils for a bit?
Yeah, he was a draft.
That would check out then. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but that kind of set the tone for the draft. I don't know if you want to go to the next chunk.
Yeah, the Stars, Jamie Alexiak, like him. Dennis Cholowski, Adam Larson. I thought this was weird. The Oilers were about to give him exactly what Seattle gave him, and he picked Seattle over Edmonton. I guess he just wanted out. I think he was done for the Taylor Hall, Adam Larson, 1-for-1, Bobby Mack.
Isn't that crazy that that's the reason why he I heard that too, that he was basically like, people said Adam Larson never liked being in Edmonton because he always got like compared to the Taylor Hall trade.
I get it. Yeah, because Taylor Hall ended up being an MVP like not that long after.
You know what was crazy too is somebody said, or I saw it tweeted the other day, Taylor Hall was saying how 2010 draft, like before the first overall pick, there was like 17 cameras on Sagan and there was 4 on him, and he thought the Oilers were gonna take Sagan first overall and he was gonna go to the Bruins, and then it flipped around and like the Bruins won a cup and like he tanked, but like if the Edmonton Oilers went the other way, like do they even have Connor McDavid? Like, you know, it's kind of crazy how shit like that works out, how like that weird decision to go Hall over Sagan, which I think was actually the right choice at the time. But
there's a lot of weird draft stories. I saw a clip that night that the draft happened, and they were talking about number 1s and number 2s, and how when Alexander Day got drafted, he said that nobody would remember who was picked number 2, and like it was Chris Pronger, and it's like, damn, Day, like you kind of fucked that one up, man.
Yeah. Oh, and I know, so this is irrelevant, but Pavel Zadina, the Red Wings pick, who said he was going to earn it a few years ago after getting drafted 6th overall. Do we have an update? Is he earning it?
I think he's an NHL guy now. I think he's going to be in there, and we'll kind of see what ends up happening with him. But I don't know.
Yarncroc, good player too. We didn't really bring him up, but I think you mentioned him before. That's like a solid. That's like a. I thought he might go to like Vegas at the trade deadline. I think that was a thought that I had at one point, and he seemed like he would fit in with them. So I think that would be a good pick.
Yeah, and dude, I get shit for not knowing how to pronounce players' names. Is that Chris Drieger?
Yeah, he was like the weird Florida goalie.
Yes. I just want to make sure I pronounce his name right. I think that was a good pickup by them. I still can't believe they didn't get Carey Price, but if they're doing it this way, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess like they just knew that they didn't want that contract, like the $10 million for a couple of more years. I thought it was funny. You see, Carey Price's wife was like telling people on Instagram like not to worry, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, does everyone know right away?
I don't know. I thought that was just that. We talked about this pre-podcast. I think Bergman, Burger Boy. I think he's just kind of flexing on everybody. He's like, yeah, we're gonna expose Carey Price, and then the next day he's like, oh, by the way, Carey Price is like really hurt. And then that kind of went away. The expansion draft happened, and then it's like, oh, never mind. Carey Price just had surgery on his knee, and his hip's actually okay. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, go figure. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Curtis
McDermott. I guess there was a connection between him and Ron Francis. Carson Soucy.
Curtis McDermott. Sorry to cut you off again. Curtis McDermott, to me, was a really good pick. Just because he's like nails. He's not a very good defenseman. I remember people were saying that they should have taken Nicholas Hague. It's like they already have a ton of like number 4 defensemen. Like Curtis McDermott can fight. Like he brings an edge. It's like when the Knights drafted Englund and Reeves. Those players do not grow on trees. Like ask the Rangers in the contract they're throwing them.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit, bud. You just couldn't wait. Cale Fleury, Cal Yarncrow, and then we have Nathan Bastian. I actually really like the way he plays. Jordan Eberle, Colin Blackwell, Joey Decord, Carson Tornsky, Brandon Tanev, and Alexander True. I think Tanev is going to be sick in Seattle. Like watching Seattle play Vancouver and just watching Tanev just bury people. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Colin Blackwell's, he's going to get he had a great year last year, and now he's going to really get an opportunity to see if that was real deal or not. I'm happy for him. Eberle's gone. I would have thought they would have taken Josh Bailey.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, right? I was confused. I thought for sure Josh Bailey wasn't going to be on the Islanders, and they ended up taking Eberle. But
no, I thought about that one a lot too. He scores a ton of goals, right? So he's skilled, and I guess they have a bunch of grinders. So maybe they thought he's more of a goal scorer than Bailey is. I don't know. Also, if you're an Islanders fan, like now you have Eberle's gone. What are you going to have Komarov on the first line again? That's tough.
Yeah, I honestly. That blew my mind a little bit. And then they have Vince Dunn, who's a good piece. He's an RFA. Yanni Gord, who actually is like 28 or 29 years old. I didn't know that. Yeah. Jared McCann, who the Leafs picked up just so that they wouldn't fuck with anybody in their roster, like Kerfoot, Cole Lind, Vanacek from the Capitals, who's a pretty halfway decent goalie, and Mason Appleton. Again, some names that were kind of left off. Domi, you could have taken Domi. You could have taken Tarasenko. You could have taken Voracek. You could have taken Price. I don't know why they didn't take those guys and flip them.
Well, I think the issue that they're having is like there has to be a reason that the Blues can't trade Tarasenko. Like I just don't think. I don't know.
Oh, no, never mind. Well, okay, yeah, keep going. Sorry,
but do you know what I mean? Like that's a hard move. Like obviously the Blues are having a really hard time getting rid of him, and they're willing at this point to just get rid of him for free. So then, like, I don't know. Like, are the Kraken going to be able to do it? It's a weird one because you think like he would be like the face of the franchise if he went there, though.
That, and if you moved him with all the cap space you have, you could totally retain some of that and make that even more positive in return for what you're getting compared to what the Blues would be able to do. The Max Domi one, same with that. Like they just took some dude that nobody's ever heard of.
Do you think Max Domi sucks? Maybe.
I'm glad you brought that up because you remember his like highlights. Like leading to the draft were so sick, and then I think his first couple of years he's pretty decent, and then it's almost like he became more of a headache. Like ever since he got the Instagram name @Max, like he definitely paid for that. Like maybe he's a little bit too big for his britches.
I don't know. I didn't even know that was his Instagram handle. I just know that it seems like he's like always like on the move or like in a doghouse or like on to the next spot. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Hal, who's your favorite Max in the world?
What?
Who's your favorite Max in the world?
I don't know. I like people that go by Maximilian.
See, that's crazy to me. I thought for sure you were going to mention the dude from Catfish.
Which one is he? Is he the videographer?
Yeah.
I don't remember that guy's name, dude. I just know his face and his fucking attitude,
He's
Max, it's like, shut up, Max.
He's off the show now. Now they brought in a girl named Beauty. Yeah, Max is gone.
That show's still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy to me. Do you ever think about how much MTV's fallen? Like I know it was never like actually good television, but it was really good shitty television. And now
it wasn't good television. Jersey Shore, Flava Flav, dude.
That's VH1, dude. Don't cross them over. But still, point applies. Like now it's just like Rob Deerdeck reruns. That's all it is.
And it's not even ridiculousness now. Now it's like a different thing. Like it has to do with food. It's crazy. Who would have thought? But where do you see Seattle finishing up the year?
Last, dude, I told you this. I'm anti-Seattle. I think, to me, Ron Francis made it clear he doesn't care about winning that much this year. It'll be interesting, though, because they have that money. Like, Phil Deneau. That's kind of an interesting one. They're weak up center. Like, he kind of wants a little bit of money. He might fit well on an expansion team. They have money to throw around. So it's hard for me to say, can I wait on a prediction until free agency's over to see if they do anything?
Yeah, I'm good with that. And that's a great name, by the way, that they just brought up. I think Philip Deneau, he's going to find a spot where people are going to give him a decent amount of money. So we'll end up seeing what goes on there. But let's kind of get into our trades now. We're actually going to start from the most recent and work our way backwards because we're fucking idiots. Or do you want me to scroll down and scroll up? I could also do that.
Dealer's choice, dude. Let's just go most recent. Fuck it.
Okay, the Florida Panthers acquire forward Sam Reinhart from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a 2022 first-round pick and goaltender Devon Levy. I think this is a good deal for the Sabres. I know I'm probably going to get shit for that because they got a bigger return for Rasmus Ristolainen. All right, Stevie. Hey, that's the doggy doorbell. Hey, stop. Chill out.
Uh-oh.
Chill out. So, to me, I think this kind of works out because they get the first overall pick and – they also get a goaltender, which is something that they've needed for a really long time. What do you have on this deal?
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's kind of like a light return on the Florida perspective. Florida's getting weird to me. So like Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, it's just kind of like a weird crew. I don't really know how I feel about the Panthers and why they did this trade. You know what I mean? They're like just the weirdest group of like former like top 10 picks. Yeah, it's so strange. Like even Huberdeau to me is like kind of a weird one.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I just kind of after this happened, I looked at their depth chart and I kind of added Reinhart to it, and I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, does this team still have what it takes to beat Tampa? And I just don't think they do right now. I don't know.
Yeah,
and I think that's good for the Sabres. I think this is a good deal. I think Kevin Adams is actually doing kind of a kick-ass job for the Sabres right now.
And the goalie that was the goalie for Canada at World Juniors. He goes to Northeastern. I think he was like a late round draft pick, but I think he had like a 950 save percentage at World Juniors or some shit like that. So good for the Sabres. I think it sucks because Reinhart was like a top 3 pick, but I think it's fair.
Yeah, I'm okay. I don't know. I think Sam Reinhart scored 25 goals, I think, this year.
And good on the Sabres for trying to finally, like, fully rebuild again. Like, yeah. I know they've done it before, but they're going back to the poorhouse.
Mm-hmm. Which is what they need to do, and hopefully they're doing it the right way. The Flyers acquire Cam Atkinson from the Blue Jackets for Voracek. So it's been pretty known that the Flyers have been trying to get rid of Voracek. And then Voracek came out and said he wanted a trade. That was like a quick, I'm going to break up with you before you break up with me. But we already kind of knew that they were going to break up with him. I think Cam Atkinson is definitely going to help the Flyers lineup. Voracek is going back to Columbus. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was drafted there, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he liked it there either, which is like the weird thing. Maybe he did. He probably did because John Davidson wouldn't approve of that trade, right, if he knew Voracek hated it there?
Yeah. No, I think so too. And like, I don't know. Everybody talks about Evgeny Malkin and Sid the Kid, and like that's their kind of era. And I always thought that Voracek was like very underrated for that era. Like I actually really enjoyed watching him play. Like he would drive the net, he would stick up for teammates. I thought he scored some big goals.
I don't think he was in the same world as those two players, though.
No, but I think in that era, like I just think he was like incredibly underrated. Obviously, he's not Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin. I'm just trying to like.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You've always been a big Voracek, Patrick Elias guy.
Never been a big Patrick Elias guy.
Yeah, that was slander. I don't know. This trade's kind of irrelevant to me, honestly. I really like Cam Atkinson, the player. He's getting older. We'll talk about it. The Flyers made a ton of moves. I really don't. The Flyers are crazy to me, right? As an organization, they're kind of unhinged, and they always like to show it in weird ways. It's kind of a nothing trade to me, though. I feel like both players are on the downtick of their career, and I feel like both players are probably going to produce at a pretty similar clip. Maybe a change of scenery is good.
I would agree. I don't have much on this one. The Blue Jackets got Jake Bean from the Hurricanes for a second-round pick. I don't know much about Jake Bean. Do you?
Yeah, I think he was like I think he was a first-round pick. To me, the Hurricanes are loaded on D. They don't really need the kid. Second-round pick, that seems fine.
Okay. This is a big one. The Chicago Blackhawks got Seth Jones, a first-round pick, and a sixth-round pick from the Blue Jackets for Adam Boquist, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. And then Jones was signed to an 8-year, $76 million contract. That's $9.5 a year. There's been a lot of hate on Seth Jones on Twitter this year, and I think, yeah, and I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Blue Jackets games, so I'm just kind of assuming that the hate was like okay, but when he was younger, he was sick. And never forget that one game that he played like 5 fucking periods of hockey. What do you have on this? I think this is actually good for the Blackhawks. They got rid of Duncan Keith, and now they're kind of bringing in a different guy. Hopefully that he could be kind of the staple of their next kind of realm of people coming up. Also, a cool report came out that Jonathan Taves, he just had like an immune kind of thing, but he might end up coming back. He probably is going to come back. I'd love to hear that. I'd love Jonathan Taves. So what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I guess I don't really want to make a prediction because, like you said, like Twitter crew, analytics crew, they all hate Seth Jones this past year. They said it was a huge overpayment. So this to me is like one of the ultimate tests of like if hockey Twitter's right or wrong, right? Like there's this strong narrative that Seth Jones sucks. I want to see how this one plays out first. Like I was always a believer in him coming up through the USA program. He always looked good. Like I don't know, man. Nine and whatever and a chunk of change is a lot of money, but I always thought of him as a top 10 defenseman. Like he was always in the top 3 for Norris for a few years. I know he fell off 1 or 2 years, but I think it's a gamble. It could work, right?
Yeah, it could work, or he's just gonna be a contract that goes to Arizona in like 6 years.
Yeah, the other thing though that was funny, looking at like the top NHL defenseman contracts and that are out there, they're all pretty terrible. It seems like most defensemen sign on good contracts, and if you overpay, it backfires. Like Carlson, Burns will make a shit ton of money still. Not to pick on the Rangers, Trouba makes 8. That was kind of crazy to see. I don't know. OEL, who got traded next, we can transition to him. He makes like 8 something.
Yep. So the Vancouver Canucks acquired Alvin Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland from the Coyotes for forwards Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, and Antoine Roussel, and a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a 7th-round pick. So this was just Jim Benning. Do you remember that one offseason that he went out and got Roussel? He went out and got Beagle, and everybody's like, what the fuck is he doing? And then a couple years later, he moves them. So what do you have on this one? In a weird way, I kind of think this works out for both teams. I don't know why, but what do you have on this?
Yeah, I think the first thing, this is so Coyotes, right? Like the place where careers go to die. Like if you're over 30, like 3 years old and you have a big contract, which all like remember everyone was like Beagle and Roussel are going to bring grit to the Canucks after Beagle won the cup and they signed him for like 4 years. Well, they just traded him for basically cap space. And OEL. I don't know. It sucks as a Coyotes fan that you had to like get rid of OEL, who was supposed to be like the face of your franchise, but you lost the draft pick because of shady business. Now you have one back. I like that. OEL's overpaid. Like he was linked to the Bruins a lot, and I was never that pumped about the idea of getting him. So I don't know. I think he could be good on Vancouver, and then you throw in Connor Garland, who I love, right? So I think you're right. It kind of works out for both teams. It'll be interesting to see. OEL's contract could fuck the Canucks, I think, though.
Yeah, and like if you're an overpaid NHL hockey player, how good does it feel knowing that like at the end of your career, if you still don't have it, at least you go get to live in Arizona for a couple of years? Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking about, though? OEL could also just be like a great Canucks defenseman. Sammy Salo. Fuck. Come on, can you help me out, please, the Swede?
Edler?
Yeah, Alex Edler. Just like European defensemen who like play with like a good poke check and first pass. Could work out that way. It's very soft of them. Like they have very soft D. Him and Quinn Hughes aren't going to scare anybody, but interesting to see.
Yep. Philadelphia went out and got Rasmus Ristolainen in exchange for Robert Haig, a first-round pick and a second-round pick. All the analytic people hate Rasmus Ristolainen. Like that's like a thing. Like he's one of the most hated players if you like computers. Pretty high prospect when he was drafted. Finn, big body, plays a little bit mean. I think the Flyers kind of overpaid here a bit. But good for the Sabres, and maybe this is what he needs to kind of get his career back in order. It's gotta suck playing for a team that loses every year.
Yeah, no, I thought this one through a lot. I also like Rasmus Ristolainen. I think he kind of plays with snarl. I think he needs to play sheltered minutes a little bit. I don't think he's like as great defensively as people thought he might be, but that's okay. If you can find a spot in the lineup for him. If I'm a Flyers fan, I think it's an overpayment, but I would be excited. I would be excited to kind of see what he brings. It's going to be like Buster or a success. I don't think there's really gray area there.
Yeah, and actually, we're gonna do all the Flyers really quick. They also traded Shane Gostisbehere and a 2nd-round pick and a 7th-round pick to Arizona for future consideration. So they got rid of their cap space on the Ghost. This has been a long time coming.
Where careers go to die. I know Shane Gostisbehere, dude. Do you see a comeback in the desert?
I don't know.
Bro, he was good. He was good.
Really good.
He lost it. I think he kind of snapped at the media in the bubble, which was kind of funny. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think he freaked out. I don't know. I think if you're an Arizona Coyotes fan, all you do is eat draft or caps hits from like old players. You get a 2nd and a 7th. You give up nothing, and you get this player who might be successful. Like I could see Gostisbehere going out there, putting up points on the power play with Clayton Keller, and then like getting traded for like a 2nd or some shit again. You know what I mean?
I would love to see that. Good union. It'd be a good. I would like to see something along those lines. And the Flyers, they also weren't done. They got Ryan Ellis from the Nashville Predators in exchange for Philip Myers and Nolan Patrick. I love Ryan Ellis. I've always liked Ryan Ellis. I have a thing about like little defensemen that play hard. Ryan Ellis is one of them. The guy in the Calgary Flames, the Swede, it's Rasmus Anderson. Like I just love those little defensemen that kind of play with a little bit of snarl. So if you're looking at the Flyers, you gave up a lot, but you ended up getting Ryan Ellis, Rasmus Ristolainen, and then who was the other one we talked about earlier? And Cam Atkinson. And I think those 3 players, I think that makes your team better. And it sucks that you kind of gave up on Nolan Patrick, and I know he's had like migraine and head issues and stuff like that, but I think it was almost time to do that. If I'm a Flyers fan, I'm kind of pissed with how much I had to give up, but I think your team's better today than it was at the beginning of the offseason.
Yeah, I guess, dude. My only thing, like Ryan Ellis is like 32, and I think he has a good amount of years left on his contract. He's small, dude. Like I already saw. I felt like I saw a tick off Corey Krug's game this year with the Blues. Like small defensemen don't last long. A lot of they just acquired a lot of money. Like to me, do you think Philly's like a Stanley Cup contender now? Like, because the other thing is it all comes back to Carter Hart. So like they did all of this, but if Carter Hart can't stop a beach ball, again, it's irrelevant. But if Carter Hart's rookie year, Carter Hart, then like they could be great.
Yeah, the Flyers are always interesting. Every year we kind of think they're going to be good, and then they're not. So
that's why I don't want to buy the hype, dude. People forget when Alain Vigneault and the super team of coaches went in there. It was supposed to be like cups automatically.
Didn't happen. And Nolan Patrick was not on the Predators for long. He was flipped to the Vegas Golden Knights for Cody Glass. I don't know why Vegas would give up. Is Cody Glass supposed to be pretty good, right? Like I would much rather have Cody Glass than Nolan Patrick.
Cody Glass is made of glass, so Nolan Patrick's always injured. Cody Glass is always injured. They're both top prospects. Maybe a change of scenery for both, but Cody Glass has not been like as good as advertised.
Okay, good to know.
I think it's pretty fair. You know what's funny? I didn't even see this one because you went through those trades. Andrew Ladd. So the Coyotes acquired Andrew Ladd for a 2nd.
A conditional 2nd and a conditional 3rd.
From the Islanders, dude. What a fucking day for the Coyotes, right?
And that's what happens when you cheat and you get your draft picks taken away. You have to just eat contracts.
Right, but the funny thing is I feel like once they're done eating contracts, they won't even spend to the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just never weird scene.
It's a vicious circle that the Coyotes do every year. It's kind of wild and a little bit crazy, but I mean,
I'll figure it out, dude.
It's death taxes and the Arizona Coyotes taking bullshit contracts. It's what it is. It's life. Here's one. I love this. The Detroit Red Wings acquired goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic from the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for Jonathan Bernier and a 3rd-round pick. I mean, they asked Steve Yzerman about it, and he's like, don't ask me. You should ask the other guy in terms of what was going on in that. I think Nedeljkovic wanted 3.5. No, he wanted around 3, but was willing to take 1.5, and Carolina didn't want to do that. This is Dundon. This is this guy who takes away the cell phones from his scouts. This is a guy who's more interested in wiffle ball games and backboards at center ice after a win than, I mean, dude, this kid came out of nowhere. You finally have a goalie, and then you get rid of him, and your backup plan was Bernier and Mrazek, and something just came out that the Mrazek talks aren't really working out.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Nedeljkovic was a Calder finalist this year. He was top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting, and they flip him for Johnny Bernier in a 3rd-round pick. Wild move. Yeah, Dundon kind of flexing on us. Like we talked about Bergevin being a wild card, I think. We always talk about Melnick, but can't forget Dundon down in Carolina.
It's insane. Like I still can't believe that they wouldn't lock this kid up. Like you have your goalie of the future.
And all the Hurricanes have ever needed is a goalie.
Yeah, and all you would have to pay him. I think he signed in Detroit for 3.5 for 2 years.
Yeah, unless you're the GM, like what if like Rob Brendamore goes up to the GM and he's like, Nedeljkovic gives me Matt Murray vibes. What if they didn't believe in him? It's not like he showed out in the playoffs.
I think this is just money because even with Brindamore, like Brindamore never should have been on the coaching block, and he was because they didn't want to bring back and pay all of his assistants.
Yeah, I don't know. Tight budget.
I know about you, but I love when the Hurricanes burn. So,
do you think Tom Dundon shops at Ocean State job lots just because he loves deals?
He probably owns Ocean State job lots.
You love Ocean State job lots, which is the weirdest thing to me. I think you literally have a tweet out there that says, I love Ocean State job lots.
No, it's Ocean State job lots fucks. Don't get it twisted, dude.
Why do you feel that way?
Because you can get, like, dumb, cheap shit, like, really cool stuff for, like, $10.
Fair enough, dude.
Fair enough. And then we have a couple other ones. New Jersey Devils got Ryan Graves from Colorado Avalanche for Mikhail Maltsev and a 2nd-round pick. Ryan Graves was the guy that the Rangers didn't take. They'd rather have Rob O'Gara. He went to Colorado, kind of blossomed there. I think this is a good deal for the Devils. I actually really like Ryan Graves. Seeing this now, maybe the Avs knew they had to kind of get rid of some money to extend Cale Makar. They just signed him 6 years, $9 million a year. What do you have on this one?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you look at the Avs, Ryan Graves is a great defenseman. He's probably their 5th or 6th defenseman. You can't pay 5th or 6th defenseman the money that Ryan Graves is going to be owed. You have a great D core. You have Bo Byram, who was like sitting in the press box for games. 2nd-round pick out of that, I don't hate it. Like I think if you're the Avs, you're always trading because you're a contender trying to get better. You get like a prospect in the future, and then if you're the Devils, that's a good defenseman for them. So I think it's a trade win for both. One of those happy ones.
Yeah, I'd give you that. And then we have one more deal before we kind of get into the 2 young defensemen making their money. The Oilers got Duncan Keith and Tim Soderlund from the Blackhawks for Caleb Jones in a 2022 conditional. I don't know what the fuck the Oilers are doing, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I can't believe we didn't talk about this one already. I guess that shows how many podcasts we've done because I forgot about this trade. Yeah, it's crazy that like the Blackhawks are basically like I feel like the Blackhawks thought they were going to do like a Duncan Keith to Arizona trade. Do you know what I mean? And then it comes out like no, like they're actually going to like have to trade like assets there. Wild to me. Good for the Blackhawks. I feel like who's the Blackhawks GM? Everybody hates him.
Stan Bowman.
Yeah, everyone hates Stan Bowman, but to me, that's not a bad trade. No, like if you're a Blackhawks fan, like you're free of them. You get Caleb Jones, who's probably like an offensive defenseman, 3rd pair kind of option, but you lose that contract. Good. Yeah,
and now Seth Jones and Caleb Jones can throw out the first pitch of the Cubs game tomorrow.
And if you're a Blackhawks fan too, Nikita Zadorov didn't get selected in the expansion draft, so now you're looking at your D there, and like you lost Duncan Keith, and like he was a warrior, but like I think that's a good turn. Like I like what the Blackhawks are kind of doing, which I don't think I ever said. Oilers' perspective is fucked though.
Yeah, if you're looking where the Blackhawks were not that long ago, and you look at where they're at now, they're in a way better spot.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then who's the Ken Holland's the GM of the Oilers too, right?
Yep.
And Ken Holland's the guy who basically ruined the Red Wings after all of their success. Like, I don't know. I think I could be wrong. Like, I know he was definitely around when they won Stanley Cup, so someone's probably going to yell at me for this. But I just felt like the way Ken Holland left Detroit was sad, and I feel like all he's done since coming to Edmonton is be just as shitty as Peter Chiarelli. What is wrong with that organization?
I truly don't know. You have two unreal superstars there and some younger draft picks. You think you'd be able to figure it out? I think they try too hard. I don't know.
They try too hard, dude. Like Duncan, if they could have, like, if Duncan Keith went to Arizona and got like bought out, and then they signed him as a free agent for a low cap hit, that works. But I just don't. I don't get it. Like, and then you think about like just like how they handle their assets. Like, you traded Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, and then you lose him in the expansion draft. That's what he meant to you. Like, I don't know.
It's definitely some weird shit. We do have two younger contracts. I mentioned this a little earlier. Cale Makar, 6 years, $9 million a year. Miro Heiskanen, 8 years, $67.6 million a year. You got to think Adam Fox is probably going to get something along those lines, as is Charlie McAvoy whenever his contract's up. The younger defensemen are starting to get paid. I mean, dude, it's so hard to pay somebody that much money a year, but like when they're that good, I kind of understand.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, to me, it's hard. That's just a ton of money. Like, Heskinen's a really good defenseman. Doesn't that just seem like a ton for him, though? Like, I guess he was over a point per game in the Stanley Cup Finals in the bubble. So, like,
I think he's lights out. I think he's going to be a Norris finalist for years. Like, I'm a huge Miro Heiskanen guy.
Whenever you see your team throw out a contract of that much money, it scares you. But I guess you're right. Like, at the end of the day, both contracts had to get done, and that's probably the value of both of them.
You know what scared me is when you mentioned smaller defensemen don't really last that long, and Adam Fox is pretty small, and you know he's about to get fucking paid. So
yeah, but Adam Fox doesn't really fit the same exact mold as like Ryan Ellis. I think Ryan Ellis is shorter.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, you're probably gonna have $17 million tied up between him and Jacob fucking Trouba. So that'll be sick. NHL Draft.
Actually, we can save it. I was gonna say, what did you think of the presentation? So I guess like basically NHL Network's actually running the draft, and then ESPN's just showing it. I guess it's NHL production because it looks exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. That's what NRD had to say.
I'm kind of disappointed because I was like excited for some new graphics. You know what I mean? Like mix it up a bit.
Yeah. What do you think about ESPN? Do you think they've been doing good with the people that they've had on?
I don't know. I'm not really sold on their analysts yet. I think one guy you want to touch on, we can save him. But like, the one thing I'll say, John Buchnevich didn't do as bad a job as I thought.
I thought he did really good.
Yeah, he was good. Jeff Gorton's okay. He has some good insight. He's just a little like uncomfortable at times. He's kind of like puts me on edge. Yeah. And I actually think Kevin Weeks has earned like a spot as a top analyst. You know what I mean?
Like, Kevin Weeks is a fucking all-star, dude.
He was the quarterback. Yeah. He was like the point guard. Like he was the one like the ball ran through. I felt like when I was watching the draft. So good for him, right? I never really thought that like Weeksy was he was always just kind of like fifth string NHL Network. You know what I mean? And he really kind of climbed the ladder. So I thought
he did great. I thought Weeks did great, and Emily Kaplan I thought did pretty decent too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess it wasn't that bad. It just felt a little awkward at times. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, that's just Jeff Gorton. He's just an awkward dude.
Yeah.
Love him, but he's just an awkward dude. Well, and we'll get into that here in a couple minutes. But NHL Draft, Owen Power goes to Buffalo. Michigan, University of Michigan had the first, second, fourth, and fifth picks in the draft. You hated this.
Yeah. Explain. This draft has to suck. I will not. It either has to suck or because like scouts couldn't get different places and not everyone played like in traditional markets this year, and they had to watch online. They couldn't scout. But Michigan was 15-10 this year.
My only argument with that is these kids are 18 years old in D1 hockey. That's like 21 plus. That would be my only argument is they're playing against older people.
Okay, but like, and I said this in the chat. Jack Eichel went to the national championship when he was 17.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the star
and lit it up.
Yeah, and he was a second overall pick, and like, I don't know, man. Like they looked good. And the Hughes brother wasn't there last year. Just to me, like that top heaviness is weird. I'm also not a Wolverine guy. Never have been. I don't know. You probably think it's sick. I feel like you're like a closeted Michigan Wolverine.
Yeah, no, I like Michigan, but you're right, dude. Like it's kind of backwards. Like, you have all these high end picks, and you would think that they would like rip it up, and they didn't rip it up. I mean, maybe individually they did, but as a team, like that's got to be kind of like what the fuck's going on here. Did they just have like 4 really good players and everybody else sucked, or I don't know?
What'd you think about Jack Hughes and his brother and their celebration?
That was such a Hughes moment.
I mean, yeah, but okay. So I've thought this. Haven't you thought it through though? Like if that was you would be jacked that you were gonna play with his brother. Yeah. The only thing is like Jack Hughes had to have known it was gonna happen if he was available. One, do you think the Devils like truly believed that the Hughes brother was the best one, or do you think they were locked and loaded for this regardless?
Bro, I don't think he had any idea that was happening because there's no way he would have jumped up and down and like started like doing that to his brother.
Do you think they did it for him though?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that was maybe he was the best?
That definitely played a role in that.
Also, how do you feel like Quinn Hughes kind of looked sad? Like he was just kind of in the corner by himself. His brothers kept hugging and shit. They were so jacked up. But like, do you think there's part of Luke Hughes that's like, this is awesome. It's obviously sick. He's gonna play with his older brother, who's the face of the franchise. But it's also like, damn, like I have to go to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, you think he's actually jacked?
And it's too early to tell, but what family's cooler, the Hughes brothers or the Stahl brothers?
I think the Hughes brothers have him in a landslide, and that's not even a compliment to the Hughes brothers.
Okay.
Although at the same time, like, do you think the Hughes brothers would like throw a party at the lake house and have the cops called, or was that the Stalls? That was the Stalls. Yeah, that was the Stalls. Like, do you think the Hughes brothers would do that? Do you think the Stahl brothers are more nails than the Hughes brothers? Probably.
Yeah. I think the Hughes brothers think that they're nails, but I think the Stahl brothers actually probably partied. They probably ripped it up. Eric Stahl wears a fucking astronaut helmet, but like I bet that he probably partied pretty hard when he was younger. Mark's a donkey.
Jordan,
I don't know about Jordan. Jordan's just kind of a weirdo too. I don't know. So I think the Stahl brothers are kind of just like weird, where the Hughes brothers are definitely cooler, but like they just kind of give that like preppy, cocky dickhead vibe to me. And I'm sure they're great kids, but like, you know what I mean? Like they are crafted from a different cloth.
They're crafted from like the U.S. National Development Program superstar cloth.
Yeah, like the Stahl brothers are crafted by Tractor Supply, where the Hughes brothers are they're just Vineyard Vines.
Yeah, true, fair.
That makes sense. And then a couple other things. So Logan Mayu, I think I got his name right. This is a kid who had sex with a girl. It's consensual, but I don't know if he took a picture or a video and then like spread it out everywhere. And he made a statement saying, I'm not worthy. Essentially, I'm not worthy of the draft. I kind of have to work on my own kind of stuff. And I thought that was like a pretty mature thing. I don't know, mature, but like it was kind of refreshing to see somebody not just say that they're sorry, but actually like, oh, hey, I'm going to try to work on it. You don't really see that often. Normally you just see somebody be like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, and that's it. But Bergevin out of nowhere, he's like, no, dude, I'm still going to pick you. And you knew that there was going to be backlash. Like the Canadians had to have known that people were going to be pissed off to do this, which makes me think the only reason you do this is this kid is like a can't-miss prospect. But now people are all sorts of pissed. What do you have on this?
My thing is I just don't understand. Like he was like, I think Bob McKenzie had him as the 35th prospect. Most teams were saying that they weren't going to draft him. I would be pissed if I was Montreal and I drafted him because like if Bergevin wanted to draft him and like felt like he could work with the kid and whatever, but like if he didn't do it in like the second or third round, he did it in the first round when he probably definitely, if he wanted to do this, got him later or signed him. Do you know what I mean? Like it felt like a waste of a pick to me.
Dude, yeah, you're so correct there because I don't think anybody would have taken him in this draft. You could have picked him with like the last pick of the NHL draft this year and been like, hey, listen, like we understand he made a mistake. We like the fact that he kind of came out and said like, hey, this is what's going on. But like us as an organization, we're willing to work with him. We're willing to get him help. Like we're willing him to like get into like the communities and like talk about it and say like this is wrong and like I'm trying to improve as a person kind of a thing. The first round pick, I guess, dude, I didn't think of it that way. That was just kind of like a giant slap in the face of, I guess, the situation that was happening.
Yeah, just like that's like asset awareness. I don't know. Like Bergevin's really feeling himself right now. You love Bergevin. You're heavy on the Bergevin train. I am too, but I feel like he's almost a little too self-aware right now with his like hot hand wild card maneuvers.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. And then, so that was a bad look for the NHL. And then an even worse look for the NHL is the next pick that was up was Stan Bowman, and he brought up 8 women to do the thing, almost kind of like, oh, hey, we know we're bad PR right now. We're going to try to get it better. But, like, that was the most obvious thing ever. So, dude, what a moment for NHL, like, the last 5 minutes of just like, hey, we're really happy to be on ESPN. Now let's kind of go to the gutter for our last 2 moments tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of a wild move, dude. I don't know what to say about this other than it's like a tough look for the Blackhawks, and it feels like I don't know what the correct answer is, and like I don't know what they did, and I really haven't been following it that much, but it just seems like the Chicago Blackhawks have literally handled this worse than anyone's ever handled anything in the entire world.
I don't think you're wrong on that. But
right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, as a player, would that like rattle you a little bit that like your franchise is dealing with this and like they seem like they're blowing it consistently?
Yeah, and you try to be positive by doing. Yeah, that was
right. And then when they do that, it's like I don't know.
It's almost like they kicked in the face, like they weren't taking it serious. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm prepared to talk about those things.
All right, Rangers news, dude. They traded Brett Howden to the Vegas Golden Knights for Nick DeSimone and a 4th-round pick. Brett Howden never panned out the way he was supposed to pan out. It wasn't lack of effort. I just don't think he's a strong enough skater to be in the NHL. He's kind of like Bambi legs all the time, but thanks for trying, Brett. They went out and they signed Barclay Goodrow 6 years, $3.6 million a year. To me, I don't hate it. And the only reason I don't hate it is because they had issues that they had to address, and I think that they went out and addressed them. And I'm going to include the other one that we can talk about both. They also traded Pavel Buchnevich to St. Louis for Sammy Blais in a 2nd-rounder. So, to me right now, you look at the Rangers and you look at their top 6. I think maybe the second-line center as of right now is Ryan Strome. You have Mika Zibanejad. You have Artemi Panarin, 100%. Chris Kreider has to be because of the contract you gave him. And then you have the 1st overall pick and the 2nd overall pick who both play the wings. There's 6 people right there, right? It's weird because it's hard to say you're going to pay Pavel Buchnevich this money to be a 3rd liner, but you literally just did that with Barclay Goodrow. But what they're doing is they're trying to solidify those bottom 2 lines, and I completely understand it. I think when Gorton was there, they just wanted to roll 4 lines of nothing but talent. The 4th line hasn't had an identity in years. And I think right now they're just trying to bring in other people. Like if you look at the games that the Rangers have lost, it's because Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin got shut down, and then everybody else kind of got walked over. Like as an NHL team, you need your bottom 6 to grind. You need your bottom 6 to wear the other teams down and contribute. And whether it's a big hit, getting momentum, sticking up for teammates, penalty killing, like I understand why talent, everybody's obsessed with it because that's scoring goals and you win hockey games by scoring more goals than the other team, but there's a lot more that go into a game than just that. So to me, the Barclay Goodrow thing, they had to give him that contract. Otherwise, he would have went somewhere else, and I get that. I'm hoping this is a contract that's bought out. Actually, I hope it's not. I hope he fucking kills it for 6 years, and we're not even pissed about this at all. Likelihood of that happening, probably not that great. He'll probably get the Brad Richards, see you later.
All right.
But hold on. Barclay Goodrow, I kind of looked into his stuff. He's won 2 cups. I know he's not Blake Coleman, and I know he played on a line with Blake Coleman and Yanni Gourde. Totally get it. But he can penalty kill. He's above 50% at the dot, which is something the New York Rangers struggle with bad. He sticks up for his teammates. I want to consider him a rat, but he definitely plays a hard-nosed game. When he's on the ice, he's going to finish his checks. List of guys that he's fought Matt Martin, both the Ritchie brothers, Martinuk, Lucic, Adam Ernie, who's not anywhere near that, but he's willing. And he's not like a big dude. He's like 6'1", 6'2", but he's not like that giant, like big-ass dude. And then you get Sammy Blais, who another big guy. He's like a wrecking ball. He hits everything. He's won a cup. So you brought in 2 guys that have won cups that obviously they weren't the guys scoring all the goals during the cup runs, but they did play a role in those cup runs. They know what it takes to get it done. And to me, I just think the Rangers had too much talent on the first 2 lines to like you need to have these role guys. And I understand people are going to be pissed about the contracts, and I understand people are going to be pissed that Pavel Buchnevich left. But I think their bottom 2 lines right now, if we're going to try to go for the typical bottom 2 lines in the NHL, they're better now than what they were before. Bottom 2 lines wise, top two lines, it's up in the air. If Capo Caco and Alexei Lafreniere come out and they play how they were supposed to in terms of where they were drafted, this is a non-issue. But they haven't done that yet because they're young. So I'm okay with it. I know that you hate the Gaudreau contract. I don't know how you are with the Sammy Blais thing, but take it away, Hal.
Sammy Blais, I'm fine. I think Barclay Goodrow contract's one of the worst contracts I've ever seen. It's not really the years, right? Because the last couple of years of the contract, there's a minimal cap hit. It's like year 2, 3, and 4, or whatever it is. Or I think it's 3 and 4. He's making like $5 million a year, $5.1 million of a cap hit. That Barclay Goodrow is exactly what the Rangers need, and he does fit the role well. But the Tampa Bay Lightning won 2 cups with Barclay Goodrow, with him making $925,000, not $5.1 million.
Right.
You look at the New York Rangers. Mika's up at the end of the year. Strom's up at the end of the year. Probably not going to be able to keep them both, right? Mm-hmm. Then next year they have to re-sign Kravtsov and Kakko. So if they actually play well like you want them to, like they need to, they're going to get paid a ton. You have to re-sign Adam Fox next year. Shesterkin's about to get a contract. You have a lot of young players you have to sign. You have contracts like Trouba at $8 million a year. You have Chris Kreider, who has a no move, no trade at the end of his 3 years. And then you throw this contract in there. I just think it's gonna fuck you guys. It's to me, and it reminds me of when the Bruins signed Matt Bolesky. And I'm not comparing the players, but I'm comparing the fact that in order for the Bruins to lose Matt Bolesky's ridiculous contract, they had to trade the Rangers Ryan Lindgren. So it's going to fuck you guys some way. That's just my thought on that. I know it feels an immediate hole, but I just thought it was a reach. I think the Sammy Blais move's fine, and I liked Buchnevich. You really changed my mind on him. He's a good player. I think he'll be good for St. Louis. But I think you hit it on the head there. I'm okay with them moving Blais because they need more bottom 6 players, not top, and they get a draft picked out of it. So I was cool with that trade. Do you get what I'm saying? The Gaudreau contract is kind of weird to me, the way it's structured.
But you would agree that he's a great fit for what the Rangers need right now. Take the contract out and just give me the player. Yeah,
I guess. I mean, because he can stick up for his teammates. Does Barclay Goodrow scare me? No.
Yeah, but I don't think that he's been brought in to scare people. I think that he's been brought in to play the game hard, and if the team needs somebody, he's there for it.
Yeah. I don't know. Good luck, dude.
I think the worst thing that's happened is they came out and they said that Brendan Smith's not going to be a New York Ranger next year, and that chaps my ass, dude. Can I have a little Brendan Smith time real quick?
Sure, dude. Go ahead.
We brought Brendan Smith in from the Red Wings. He played a hell of a playoff series. They signed him to a big deal. He got married, kind of lost his way, went down, punched Vinny Lettieri in the face, broke his hand, came back, played on the 4th line for a couple years, and then became a defenseman again. He did everything that the Rangers ever asked him to do. Do you think Brendan Smith wanted to fight Tom Wilson? No, but he knew that he had to because somebody on the team had to do it. To me, Brendan Smith was like the ultimate Ranger, and it was weird because you know how big I was on Matt Zuccarello, and Matt Zuccarello is obviously my favorite player of all time. But when I needed a favorite player after him, it was Smitty every single time. It was endearing. He would make turnovers and he would do shit, but you never once questioned his effort. He was so for the fucking boys. It was insane. He'd show up to golf events with 5 different suits. There's just so many different things that Brendan Smith that brought to the table where it was like, fuck, man. I think if he wasn't in the NHL and he was from Saratoga, we'd probably be best friends. I'm going to miss the guy. And I hope that he goes somewhere and is given a role. Maybe he goes to Boston. I mean, he could kind of be a Boston Bruin. He might not play a lot, but that could be something. Because I know you guys need a defenseman. Maybe you sign him cheap. I kind of think maybe he goes to Vegas and plays with his brother. I don't know, but
what if he goes to the Caps?
No, he won't go to the Caps.
What if he does, dude? I mean, prepare yourself. What if he's on the Islanders or the Devils? Is your tone of Smitty going to change, or will you always appreciate him?
I'll always appreciate Brendan Smith for what he brought to the table, dude. When nobody on the Rangers would have fought Tom Wilson other than Brendan Smith. And to me, that's nuts on the table. He'll always have my respect. I might get his jersey anyway, even then he's not on the team. That's how much I appreciate what he's brought to the boys in blue. So head on a swivel for Brendan Smith appreciation blog. That's going to be coming out soon. Couple other real quick things. Gorton and JD were on the draft and within the first 5 minutes. That was kind of heavy. I thought Gorton did a pretty good job. when the Rangers drafted their pick, he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I heard a rumor out there that the Rangers are trying to play harder." I thought that was kind of funny. But I thought he did good. I have a pet peeve. Everyone who freaks out about any pick outside of the first round. Like, guys, you don't watch fucking SHL games at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, chill the fuck out. They're scouts, and they're scouts for a reason. I was confused about the Eichel thing. I think everybody's confused about the Eichel thing. Like, I don't think he plays another game for the Sabres, but you would have thought that they would have wanted to get, like, draft picks because this is the last year. So if they don't move him this year, next year, if they try to move him, he has a no-move clause. So he's going to kind of dictate where he goes. There's still rumors out about him currently, but I don't know. That's my Eichel thing.
It's tough to bring Eichel in when you're paying Barclay Goodrow $5 million a year.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No, it's 3.6 AAV.
Okay.
But their first pick, Brennan Othman, I was confused. Remember I said there was no way they were going to use their pick? They used their pick. Classic.
I was really hoping you guys picked that American named Chaz.
At Chaz.
I just wanted the Rangers to have a guy named Chaz.
Yeah. Their first overall pick, he's described as a wrecking ball who can score. This is what Chris Drury had to say. We're excited he was there. Our scouts describe him as a Swiss Army knife kind of player, can play both wings, can play up and down the lineup, knows how to play a 200-foot game. We're excited to bring him into the mix. And, I mean, this is just WHL. Jaden Gruby, 17-year-old captain from Red Deer, 6'3" center, tore his ACL. I fucking love that. He's back in the fold. Ryder Korchak, he played for the
Can we stop? You love that your second-round pick?
Third-round pick. We didn't have a second.
You love that your third-round pick tore his ACL. That's a plus for you.
Perseverance.
All right, what's next?
Ryder Korczak from WHL, Moose Jaw Warriors. They drafted a ton of WHL guys. Brody Lamb, high school player out of Minnesota. I think he had 87 points in 23 or 24 games. Goal scorer. The quote that I've seen for all these Minnesota high school hockey fans, because there's an account that has all these followers, they knew he'd be an NHL prospect. Love hearing that out of a kid from Minnesota. Kale I don't know, TPS Finnish kid. They love drafting people out of TPS. And then they also got a 6'8" goalie from the WHL in the Americans. That's kind of what I had. I don't really hate this draft. I'm interested to see how Brennan Othman's going to do. One thing that kind of was a little bit weird, the pick after Othman, it was a centerman on the same team that Lafreniere was on, and he centered Lafreniere. And I'm wondering why they wouldn't have just picked that kid to see if there was anything there still.
Maybe Lafreniere didn't want him.
Isn't that weird? Do you think they had to have asked him about him?
I would say they would, yeah. I don't know how much they weigh Lafreniere's word, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's Drury saying I called the shots, we're not gonna have a jack.
I don't know. Isn't that kind of weird though? Literally the next pick was that kid. So I thought
maybe I guess they just didn't like him as much. Maybe they thought he was a product. They thought he was a product of Lafreniere.
Yeah, but I mean they fucking ripped it up. I don't know. But overall, I know a lot of Rangers fans are pissed off, but I mean we still have Nils Lundqvist, we have Braden Schneider. We have Kravtsov only played a few games and he looked sick. I still think the Rangers have a lot of top-end talent, so it's not like we're chasing after these top-end talent guys. We're just kind of waiting for them to be ready and, do it. So that's kind of what I have on the Rangers. What do you have on the Bees, bud?
Not a lot. I'll make this quick. Taylor Hall re-signed, 4 years, $6 million a year. Like the deal. It's short enough I can live with it. He's 32. I think he probably could have gotten more on the open market. Brandon Carlo, 6 years at $4.1 million. I like that re-signing. I think that's fair. He's our second pair defenseman, and we're better when he's in the lineup. 6 years, I love that. If he can stay healthy, that'll be awesome. And the Bruins drafted Fabian Lysell out of Sweden. I thought he had arguably – Feverboy Rex was talking about this. The funniest thing is when your team drafts a guy in the NHL draft and then they just show highlights of him dumping it in or making a good breakout pass. This Fabian kid had highlights. And he was but apparently he has character issues. Ked was telling me he's kind of a Swedish rock star situation going on. Don Sweeney, I looked it up, said everyone grows. He's young. I like it, dude. We got Pasternak 23rd overall. He fell in his draft year. This kid fell in his draft year. He's highly skilled. The Bruins always end up drafting some American fourth-line grinder from the National Development Program. So they did it. They listened to me. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I don't even know if he'll work out. If it's a bust, I'll live with it because this is what I wanted the Bruins to do. We have no prospects, and I finally have someone I can get excited about.
His highlight package was fucking sick. Do you remember a couple years ago? Was it last year? The Blue Jackets drafted that Russian kid, and everybody was scrambling to figure out who the fuck they picked.
That was last year, yeah.
Oh my god! Thank God it wasn't that. And his name's Fabian, dude. Like,
yeah,
Fabian and Pasta are gonna be ripping up Boston, dude. It's gonna be sick. I wonder what Brownie has to say. Maybe I shoot him a text in a little bit. But I'm good with the Taylor Hall contract. I mean, that's serviceable, dude. Like, you have 4 of your top 6 there for a while. Carlo, 6 years at 4.1. Wait, yeah, he's not making $6 million. Yeah,
no,
so,
yeah,
okay. I think that's fair. He's a top 4 defenseman, right?
Yeah, he's our second pair right D behind McAvoy. Like, plays his job well. He's not flashy, but I'm cool with that. Would
you rather have Carlo or Ryan Lindgren on your team?
At this point, I think Carlo is a little more proven. But I could actually honestly see them being very simple. Like,
because I think Lindgren just signed a 3-year, $3 million, and to me, I think Lindgren's like a top 4 too. So I'm okay with 4.1. And
yeah,
like, I think that's for 6 years too. Like, that's not bad,
right? Because he's like 23. So.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
The other thing I forgot to write down. I'll just say quickly. Kevin Miller retired. That one sucks. Always injured. Felt bad for him. I think his last real kind of like experience in the playoffs was that fucking hit. I forget who threw it on him. Whatever. It sucks, man. He fought. He brought toughness to the lineup. He loves to hunt with Marchand. Good dude. California guy. I don't know. I'll miss Kevin Miller, undrafted. You know, just like he was very similar to, like, I guess the Smitty role he took and he really did a good job when we lost Adam McQuaid. At the end of his career, he became Adam McQuaid for us.
Yeah, but Killer was actually a killer. Smitty's not a killer, dude. Smitty's a softie. But I get what you're saying. And I love that it came from nowhere. Like, those are always good, feel-good stories. I think Dan Girardi probably had a little bit of a better career than him. But, like, same kind of thing, undrafted, came out of fucking nowhere, and then you kind of have that homegrown talent there. And to me, like, I would much rather have, like, an undrafted homegrown guy than, like, some big-name free agent come in and kind of do well. You know what I mean? Like, that's that good shit. So
yeah, no. Oh, one real quick thing, because I follow this scout online, which is really weird. He tweeted one day basically that he watched Kevin Miller went to Berkshire prep school and he watched him play and he wrote 0 notes on Kevin Miller. Said the other thing, this is your draft. Was it Othman?
Yep.
Othman is a scorer, works hard, heavy, but you keep going back to that big release and the points he racked up with Shane Wright on the Don Mills Flyer. So he played with the superstar in the past too. Where's that kid from? Othman?
Yes, Pickering.
Ontario?
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was cool to hear that, like, so your draft pick grew up with, like, a superstar. Lit it up.
Yeah, and dude, when he was interviewed, he mentioned, like, Capo and Lafreniere. He's like, yeah, they're pretty good. If they can get me the puck, I think I can put it in the back of the net.
Jesus Christ.
So at least he knows his fucking role, you know?
Cocky.
Yeah, but, like, at the same time, he's not saying he's out there dangling. He's like, he pretty much told the media, hey, I'm completely willing to just sit back door.
Yeah, true.
Which, I mean, that's
Kiefer Bellows effect, dude. Just kidding.
Hopefully he's better than Kiefer fucking Bellows, dude. And that was our Rangers Bruins talk. We only have one more segment. Dominic Moore's Heroes and Zeros.
Hey fans, this is Dominic Moore. I'm just going to take you guys through a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff here.
All right, heroes and zeros time. I'm just going to go quick with my heroes. They're both analysts. Bob McKenzie, he wasn't on for the first time. I think it was like 18 fucking years. Don't you worry about the Bob father pick for pick was calling each one of them. I just love the fact, like, do you think it's like if you become an NHL GM, like there's all these rules and regulations, and then the last rule is like no matter who you pick, you have to tell Bob McKenzie before you do it?
Maybe, dude. I don't know. I think it seemed like he was having fun with it too, right? It wasn't.
He's having a great time, dude. Like I'll never forget. Oliver Wahlstrom was on the board. Everybody thought the Rangers were going to pick him, and then right before the Rangers walked up, Bob McKenzie goes, "Be prepared for the Rangers to go off the board to Russia. Vitaly Kravtsov's the name." And then they pick Kravtsov, and it's like, so Bob McKenzie knows exactly what's going on.
It's pretty funny too that like if Bob McKenzie calls his shot, it's like wholesome, but when Frank Saravelli does it, it's like, shut up, Frank.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to throw him in here, too. I have three heroes. Frank Saravelli, man. Like, that guy just took a giant dump on ESPN. He did not give a fuck. Like, it was his world. Everybody was living in it. And the year that Bob McKenzie goes away, and it's like, okay, it's Frank's time to shine. Is he like a premier insider now? Is he trying to be like Woj?
I don't know, dude. I don't really have a good answer for that. I kind of felt that way. I mean, it was definitely his coming out party. Yeah, I don't really hate him either. Like, that happened with the Vegas expansion draft too. You can get back to your other hero. I'll just throw out my zero. It actually is expansion drafts. They always seem like they're going to be way more exciting than they are. Like, sometimes the trades, there was no trades this year, but the last time, trades leading up and during was exciting, but you know who's getting picked. It's a boring presentation. They try to make it cool. I'm happy we're at 32 teams. Don't have to deal with it again, hopefully.
Bro, why do you even put it on TV if everybody knows what the fuck's happening?
That's what I'm saying. They should have just called it.
And then the one guy was like, and with the first pick for the Carolina Panthers, it's like, dude.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I saw that. Who was the GM who almost choked last night making a pick? Fitzgerald for the Devils.
Yeah, Fever Boy Rex is like, this poor guy's about to pass out.
Oh, my God. He was struggling. I hadn't seen anyone struggle that bad since, you remember that guy that went viral after that one Super Bowl? He was like a Ford dealership. Like, he was the guy who gave away like the MVP's car. It was like a Ford dealership guy from like Kansas City, and he like shit his pants. Very similar vibes there.
I didn't even know that had happened. All right. And then I only have one more hero. Sam Cosentino. I don't know where the fuck this guy came from, but he seems very knowledgeable of what's going on, and he rocks a sick mustache. So, to me, I think that's kind of a good look. Like, he was very well spoken. Do you think so?
I don't think I'm a Cosentino guy yet. I don't know why. I know he came over from, I think he's from like Rogers or Sportsnet or whatever. It's actually a goatee. It's just super thin. I just looked it up. I thought it was a mustache too, but apparently that's a goatee. Does that change your mind at all, or is it kind of?
I mean, dude, you don't see that type of work anymore. Like, I'm good with it. And he has the slick back hair. He always has a nice suit. I'm looking at him right now. He's got a nice suit on. Like, I feel like I would get dinner with him and drink some beers, and I feel like he'd be kind of a fun dude to hang out with.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I already have the feeling. I think I'm going to be a TNT guy.
Okay.
Just going to throw that one out there.
Oh, did you see Brian Boucher's kid got drafted?
Yeah, I had no idea that was his kid. That was cool to see. Everyone knows I'm a Boucher guy. And I forgot he is working at ESPN, but fucking crazy.
There were a lot of little things. Like Kirby Doc's brother got drafted by the Blackhawks. There were a lot of Shane Doan picked his kid for the Coyotes second round. I was hoping the Rangers got him, because if that kid's anything like his dad, that's a fucking huge pick.
How much fun do you think Shane Doan's kid's going to have at Arizona State playing hockey?
Oh, man.
Yeah, like from Phoenix.
Not that fun. Not that much fun, because not that he won't have fun, but from all accounts, like, Shane Doan's like the ultimate human being. And if, like, that guy's anything like his dad, like, I don't really think he's going to be worrying about partying. Like, I think he's going to be worried about making it to the NHL.
I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like Shane Doan is the ultimate human being, but I feel like if you hang out with Paul Bissonnette as much as he does, like, he has to have, like, a little bit of a wild side. You know what I mean? It always, whenever you hear them talk about stories of Coyotes, it always sounds like it was, like, Yandel and, like, Doan and Bissonnette hanging out, and like knowing the other two, like Shane Doan has to be a little fucking kooky.
Yeah, I remember we went to Christian. Remember the rink that was like on the National USA Day or whatever, and they showed that rink up in Northville out by my house. We went and skated there. A guy's name's Christian, really nice guy. And before we got there was like only one rule, and it was that you couldn't swear. And I remember like going over and being like, "Oh, so I'm going to Shane Doan's house," because like that's something that Shane Doan doesn't swear.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just looked it up too. I don't know if this is pretty irrelevant, but Jackson Needham there's a Niedermeyer son on Arizona State too.
Oh my
Scott Niedermeyer's son's on Arizona State too. So they're just racking up legend sons. And
didn't Mario Lemieux's kid play there?
I don't know. He might have. I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
I want to say I'm pretty sure about that.
There you go.
Oh, you guys, 7th round, you picked Andre Gassot, USA U18 team, 42 games, 12 goals, 15 assists. You guys love that program. 6'4", 205.
There you go. Did we do it well?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Do you have a hero, or we're just going to end it? I'm good with ending it if you're down.
My hero of the week was this week of hockey. Good week of hockey. A lot to talk about.
And then we're going to have Free Agent Frenzy coming up. I think we're going to try to do an award show. We have some podcasts in the works. So, and once we get Brownie hooked up with Biz Dev, and if anybody else listening to this wants to be a part of the Morning Skate team, let us know. Again, it's like literally like 2 to 4 emails a week. trying to get people to come on our shit. We'll give you the media kit. It's really not that hard. But that's what I have. You have anything else?
That's it, dude. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, right? Enjoy the summer. Maybe an awards show coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We will talk to you guys soon.